All right, it's draft time here on Lights Camera Barstool. Watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button below and subscribe. Got to do that. Better stuff if you do that. You do that, it helps us out. Jeff D'Lo alongside Ken Jack, Gooch, and Rudy joining us this week for our draft. Our super this seems like a little unfair because as we're doing this, there are pretty decent reviews for Blue Beetle coming out.
Yeah.
We've been making fun of Blue Beetle for a while. The promotions are crazy. They took over the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum.
Yeah, they call those the Blue Beetle steps now. That's what everyone calls them.
They were like they were copying Barbie's promotion. It just seemed like an easy thing to make fun of. People seem to enjoy it though. But with that said, we are going to be drafting least favorite on-screen comic book characters. So it's got to be something in a movie, in a show. The streaming stuff counts as well. Obviously now Disney had what? We just saw a tweet yesterday. They were talking about how many projects in between
18 projects since we last saw Captain America.
Yeah, 18 projects since we last saw Sam Wilson's Captain America. That's
Insane.
Crazy. That's
Absolutely
crazy.
insane.
I thought it was an exaggeration, and then the guy actually listed them all. But the funniest part of that tweet was the one guy who responded, actually, we have seen them since the show came out. Because there's an alternate storyline on Disney cruises.
It is true. If you go on the Disney cruise, there's an Ant-Man, like Ms. Marvel's in it. Yeah. So we're going to draft least favorite. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to randomize it with a coin. I actually bought a large prop coin, but I don't have it yet. So Rudy's our guest. Rudy, call it in the air.
You got a prop coin? Why,
Yeah.
Is that different than a coin?
Yeah, my brother, they got the real ones. You're holding it.
Yeah,
Jeff
but
D'Lo.
the prop coin is going to be like the size of my face.
That's called illegal money. That's illegal.
I'm not going to try and use it at like Target or anything. Rudy, call it in the air, heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay, it's heads. We'll move on to, we'll go down the list of what I see in front of me. Ken Jack, heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
Heads again.
Wow. I guess it did. Give me head.
Now it's going to be tails, dummy.
It's tails again. All right, I'm going to call it.
See?
I didn't call anything, so I'm an idiot and pass me up. Rudy, I didn't call it. I cheated. Rudy, heads or tails?
Tails.
Heads again. Ken Jack.
Holy shit. Okay. What a fucking fired up starts. Tails.
It's tails. What do you want? What pick?
If we're going 1 through 4, I'll go 1. I think I got enough.
All right,
space
Ken
here.
Jack's going to go with the first pick. Gooch, heads or tails?
Heads.
It's heads. What do you want?
Give me 3.
3. Gooch has the third pick. Let's see. I'll go heads. It's heads. I'll go 2, and then Rudy gets last. Rudy, but it's a snake draft.
No, it's a good spot. It's a good spot.
Yeah, 4 is good.
All right, least favorite on-screen comic book characters. I feel like we can be lenient in some spots. And it's not good. If you pick the character, it doesn't span every character ever for that character. Because there's obviously been multiple terrible versions of some characters. So Ken Jack, first overall pick, least favorite on-screen comic book character.
I'll go with a very easy one off the top. Actually, I guess tipped myself when I was talking to you guys about this earlier. The Jared Leto Joker. The Jared Leto Joker is one of the least palatable on-screen comic book characters I think I've ever come across in my life. And a lot of that just to do with, Jared Leto being a fucking freak and sending his co-actors or whatever, co-stars like dead pig intestines and condoms filled with like blueberry muffins or whatever the fuck it was. But it's just the character itself was not creepy. It was like the fakest edgy nonsense that I'd ever seen. And it tanked the movie pretty badly. And obviously people started to say like, oh, the Ayers cuts out there is a better version. There's not.
He was every hardo at a club in Vegas. That's what he was in like Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Exactly. He was like a weird, like he was like like they have this kind of people on TikTok and shit now, just like over the top personality guys were like, hey, look, I'm wearing this goofy shit. Like that was him. Like it's just nothing about it was good or scary or felt like the Joker. And it was just like it really was tough. Like because we always talk about like when Joker came out, right? It's like how do you follow up the Ledger, right? Like this was the actual follow up to Ledger, and it was awful. It was so fucking bad. So I'll go with Leto's Joker.
He stinks. It's a stinky character. And then and I liked the Snyder cut of Justice League. I think it's like great. But isn't there like a dream sequence in there where he like talks about giving Batman a hand job or something?
Very end,
dude. They have the sequence where they're in like the post-apocalyptic spot or whatever.
You got to go to the 5th hour to find that little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a lot of fast forwarding.
It is a Chernobyl level disaster what they did to that joke, because it's not only the performance and the behind the scene. It's the performance, it's the behind the scenes stuff, it's the costume design, putting damaged in cursive on his fucking head,
the
tattoos,
the tattoo on the hand,
the purple Lamborghini, just from top to bottom. They didn't make a single right decision.
Real.
Rudy, you're an MCU guy. Do you have like disdain for the DC Snyder movies?
Yeah, I don't like them, honestly. Like, I think Snyder's good, but the problem is like, I feel like he makes like YouTube video movies. It's like 4K, 120 FPS. Like, he just does fucking slow-mo and like high contrast. I feel like I'm watching like a YouTube video.
So not in the least mean way possible. Like, if I were to like an AI were to absorb every Zack Snyder movie that's ever existed and pump out a fan for it, what it would look like, it would be you. Like, you, he makes movies directly for you. So I would assume you'd be a big guy.
Bro. I survive. Dude, I'm a Zack Snyder survivor.
I survived as Zack Snyder.
He was pinning 300, and he's like, "Fuck, Rudy's gonna love this."
Yeah. And let me guess, you love that shit, and you had to love 300.
Dude, 300 fucking rules.
Exactly. It's awesome. It's so good.
But it's like, dude, like, I don't know why I don't know why it doesn't work for other shit. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's just muscle bound. I mean, the story of 300 is just cool. I don't know, but the Joker's a good pick. I feel like that Joker would have gotten absolutely flamed by every other Joker. Like, if you multiversed and put him in a room, they would cook his ass.
He'd be the Meek Phil of the Jokerverse.
Dude, he'd be the bitch. Like, he would get absolutely flamed. They'd be like, "You're a poser. You're not about this life." He's like if a Brooklyn dude was like, "Oh, I'm going to be the Joker now."
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
come on,
and
guys.
that's coming from another recovered Brooklyn dude.
Going to the Mirage.
No, that's a good.
You guys want to go to Catch?
Yeah,
I got a table at Common Ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a table douchebag. Like, he's just which, like, getting a table doesn't make you a douchebag, but it's the guys who are like I was out this past weekend and you see it's like the group who after like the wedding or like the rehearsal dinner, like it's that select group that goes out after, and it's the one guy who gets a table. Everyone, I had a guy just like falling over stage with like a Tito's bottle. It's like, all right, man. It's like, all right,
we need to get bottle service. We need to get bottle service, dude. We need to get it. No, we don't.
He was just, the guy was just pointing at people like, shot. No, I don't want your straight vodka shot. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Yeah, it was like he was like a Coke dealer dressed as the Joker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You guys love the ruthless, neurotic portrayal of the Joker. Now we're going to give you a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, literally just a dude, like a dick. Like someone you wouldn't want to be around, not because they're going to kill you, but because they're just going to annoy you.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff.
My pick in round one, I'm going to go Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's a truly horrible character. It is, in a sense, a good character because it did allow us to get the current Deadpool. Like, it was so bad that they never really went back to that. They never thought about going back to it. It gets made fun of in the current Deadpool movies, but it takes such a funny character where the entire point is that they talk. It's literally like the Merc with a mouth. Like, that's the nickname of the character, having a mouth, talking, joking. To sew his mouth shut and just not speak the whole part of the movie where he is like the Deadpool character, and he looked terrible. Looked ridiculous. If you were to like pull together the best examples of not getting it when it comes to studios, that is probably number one of like just not understanding source material, the audience, and for some reason trying to find a way to do something different when it's so different it's not even like worth making. And that movie just, except for the opening of X-Men.
Except for the opening, I was hoping you would mention it.
Yeah, the opening of Origins Wolverine, where Wolverine and Sabretooth are running through all the wars in history, is pretty awesome. But the rest of the movie just stinks. Stinky movie.
Do you remember the I forget what the character was, but the dude with the guns on their team, X-Force, whatever. There's a scene where he like just runs up and he like jumps up over like a cliff and is like shooting his guns while like, going. It was one of the worst wire work scenes I think I've ever seen in my entire life. That whole movie was bad.
Some brutal wire work in that. Yeah, no, Deadpool origins for me. Gooch, round 1 pick.
What a performance from Will.i.am.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot about
Will.i.am
that.
is in it. And
And
what's
so
his name?
is,
Like
Dominic Monaghan is in it.
what's his superhero? What's his villain or whatever it is?
What, in Origins?
Will.i.am. What's his character?
Like Fly.
Well, no, what's his name is in it?
Fly?
Like Remy or something? That's Ratatouille.
No, you're talking about Remy LeBeau. Remy LeBeau is in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Gambit? Gambit's in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah, it's John Wraith.
John Wraith.
Yes.
You seem like a big Taylor Kitsch. You could be Taylor Kitsch, Rudy. Like if he were to die and they needed someone to do like the work for him, you could definitely pass for Taylor Kitsch.
Thanks, bro.
He's just as good of an actor too.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh
Wait,
man,
I'm trying to think of the same guy. Oh yeah, dude,
horrible
Friday
movie.
Night Lights. Sign me
Tim
up.
Riggins.
Look what he looks like now, though. Like you look like a splitting image of. I was just watching him in Painkiller.
He's a big hockey
on
guy
Netflix.
too.
Massive hockey guy. We were interviewing
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we kind of got the same, almost receding hairline, but you can fake it.
It's right there.
Gooch, what are you going your first pick?
Ezra Miller. And this is
Oh wow, wow! I didn't
this
think.
is-
Okay,
this is outside of like the off the field behavior. I mean, I'm gonna ignore that for a second and just talk about his on screen portrayal of the
Barry.
Flash. Yeah, Barry. It's just weird. It's just unsettling. It never fits in with the rest of the movie, and it's like he's trying to be an endearing nerd, but he's just the kind of nerd that you really want to put in a fucking locker. Like just the worst. Like there's no charisma. I'm shocked he ever got a solo movie because he's easily the worst part of
The Flash got no riz.
Right.
Oh, no.
That's the other
not
thing.
not only getting a solo movie, like fighting tooth and nail to get the movie made. Like
Yes.
everything, like curving every possible thing, like letting everything go, ignoring things just to make sure that movie gets out. It is crazy.
It looks bad when he's delivering dialogue just in like his normal street clothes. Looks bad when he's trying to be a superhero. Didn't know how to fucking run. That seems like a big issue for the Flash. Didn't know how to run. Like he looked up videos of cheetahs running instead of normal human beings. What are we thinking? I mean, it's a bad.
The
portrayal.
arm flailing run, yeah,
Yes.
which people do. Don't people defend it?
You should
I
not.
mean, you can find defenders of everything online.
Unfortunately.
it runs like this, yeah.
But yeah,
Runs
Ezra
like
Miller
Phoebe
get
and
fucked.
Friends. Yeah, no,
Get
that's the brutal character. But like, even then, like he was okay in the small doses and like
Justice
some-
League. Yeah.
right, but it's one of those things though where it's like, did you sit there when you watched it, like Devil's Advocate, when you watched that for his first portrayal, did you sit there and go, this is the worst part? No, you maybe didn't love it, but then when you expand it to a full role, it becomes like bad.
The scene when they're my headphone just cut out. The scene where they're
Oh, shit. I can hear. Maybe your mic cut out.
Yeah, your mic cut out.
oh my god,
Yeah, your mic just
This is
flat
an
out.
unbelievable studio. You guys lucked out so much, Rudy, even though your current
Even-
setup is a little shit. Like literally nothing changed in what we're sitting in right now, and the hardware just shit out. So work on this
Yeah,
one?
your mic just stopped working.
Jesus Christ. All right,
the
he's going to go
fuck?
fix the condenser. I guess, Rudy, you go.
The Flash just zapped in there and snipped his
Yeah, and
wires.
turn it. Yeah, Ezra Miller just got your,
Yeah.
your fucking wires,
Yeah.
Steph Gooch.
Snyder fans just cut out Gooch's mic. Rudy, you're we're gonna fix Gooch's mic. Rudy, your first round pick.
My first round pick. Well, first I was gonna say I just thought of this. Ezra Miller as like real life Ezra Miller, but he has the powers of the Flash as a villain would be fucking awesome.
As a villain, yeah. Oh, yeah. He would
Like
be sick.
Flash, yeah, just like starting cults, beating the shit out of bartenders, but can run super fast. That'd be a fucking awesome villain.
Yeah. Hell
just
yeah. dude.
terrorizing the United States of America.
He burglarized the entire West Coast in like 10 seconds.
Exactly. My first pick, it's kind of a hot one, but I've always thought this. It's just never done anything for me. Is Superman?
Which Superman, though?
All of them, just in general.
Ooh.
I just don't like Superman. Superman's never done it for me. I feel like Superman is made for infants. Like if you look at Superman's fan base, it's infants, and if you're an adult Superman fan, you got to reevaluate.
Rudy, this really hurts coming from you. I'm an adult Superman fan.
You got to reevaluate.
you and Jerry Seinfeld. That's the two biggest.
I like that he's just a wholesome guy. He's just a normal guy who wants to be a good person.
That's my problem. Is like if you're an adult man, get you a superhero with some fucking problems, dude.
He's got some problems.
He doesn't have enough problems. That is
he
very
has
true.
one problem. He has one problem is that he's like dating a girl whose dick could kill her.
Okay. I was like, well, Lois is packing.
Yeah, seriously.
What Superman are you
fucking Lois has a kryptonite strap on. What was I missing
he's
there?
got two issues. His dick can kill his girlfriend and kryptonite. If you go to like a superhero like fan meet and greet, it would just be the ratio would be a daycare.
The ratio.
I don't hate the pick because I will say the original Superman I do like the original Superman movie, and that portrayal I think is still the best. But like I like Cavill, but unfortunately Cavill's Superman I think was written terribly. It's never been portrayed well on screen. Not his fault. I think he does a good job. I think he does a good job portraying what is written for him, but they've never done a good job writing that character. Mm-hmm. It's a mopey fucking downer loser character. The Brandon Routh one, whatever. So I don't hate that.
You didn't like when he got that bullet in the eyeball?
The bullet in the eye was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. That commercial where the bullet just flattens out in his eyeball. Yeah. Rudy, don't shake your head. You know that shit was cool.
No, it's not, dude. You're a fucking superhero. Bullets are like the least of your it's not a flex to deal with a fucking bullet.
Yeah, but in 2006, seeing a bullet hit someone's eyeball and flatten out, that was like seeing God for the first time.
Dude, Iron Man became Superman just by learning how to code and solder electronics.
Yeah, he's like a nerd.
Dude, Kal-El would fucking wash him in 4 games. Come on.
No, dude.
There wouldn't even be 4 games.
Iron Man would get smoked.
No, not even close.
But the fact that Superman even comes close to dying at the hands of Batman in Batman v Superman alone is
Batman
lame.
Number one. Batman, give Batman some prep. Batman with prep time. He could kill God.
The rich guy.
Fucking psycho Batman fans, including our good friend Gerald McCoy.
It's true. Yeah.
True. I mean, there is a literal animated movie and comic book run where Batman just does kind of kill God. I mean, he kills Darkseid. The guy that just bodies Superman. He just Batman's light work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm trying to side with Rudy for the sake of the argument. Like I could see in the vacuum, Superman can be kind of lame at times.
He's too uber.
It's is he the most powerful person ever? But then he gets bodied. It's like,
that's gonna be the success of the James Gunn one is going to completely hinge on how they portray that character. I'm very curious, and that's why I've said I think that movie could be great, and I can still see it bombing because there is that small thing that people talk about. Does Superman not resonate with American audiences anymore? Who just not give a shit about Superman anymore? Which could be the case.
He's got a lame outfit too.
We'll find out. All right, Rudy, round 2, you have the first pick. Snake draft goes back to you.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm going to try to save one, but I got a long list. I'm going to go with because I'm going to go with Winter Soldier.
Oh, Winter Soldier. Wow. Rudy, you're going to eat shit on this graphic, my friend.
Oh, I know, but I just got to get it out. I don't want to go the easy ones. Winter Soldier is just a dud, dude. He's just a dud. I've never seen a superhero who treats it like a 9 to 5. Do you even want to fucking do you even want to fucking be here, dude?
To be fair, I don't think he definitely doesn't.
Yeah, I get it. He technically didn't sign up. And in Winter Soldier or in the first Captain America, he has a bit more of a role, and he doesn't really have. They don't really do much to his character development. But every time he would come into frame, it would just be him. He's always 30 yards away. Why is he always 30 yards away from everyone? Just walking away from I think he just wants to be a farmer. He's always walking away from a tractor or something.
He is constantly leaving. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just lingering. I don't think he wants to be there. He doesn't offer anything, like has no opinions on anything. He's just like, yeah, dude, this is my Captain America's my home. He doesn't say anything ever. He also is just like a Warzone character in a superhero movie. Like he's pulling up with a kitted out Bruin. It's like, what are you going to fucking do? He's got one strong arm. I'll give him that.
He's got the very strong arm. That's fair.
I think it's just the lingering. And like, I think we'd all be doing him a favor if we just let him go do something else.
He's the fringe guy of the MCU.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. He's just always kind of like,
I do feel like a little bad for him too. You can tell like in Infinity War when he's on Wakanda, when T'Challa brings him the arm, you can tell he's kind of like, God damn it, dude. Like,
he's like, are you kidding me, dude?
I'm enjoying the peace and quiet. I've got my robes on. Like, I'm just relaxing. And you bring me this weapon arm now, and I'm just back in the game again.
Yeah, dude. He's got his hoe. He's running the fields. He's happy. And then they're like, he's like, oh, now I got to pull up as a human, kind of like a bigger, better human being to fight against fucking Thanos. And what do I have? An LMG.
Yeah, he had the pass too at that point. So like getting rid of all of that is just horrible.
Yeah,
he gets the White Wolf nickname for all of 30 seconds. They're like, nah, you're just Bucky again, just Winter Soldier.
And then he gets cucked in the end.
Wait, in what sense?
And when Captain America comes back, his number one homie, he's like, nah, Anthony Mackie, whatever.
Yeah, you get him. I'm gonna go have sex with
my former lover's niece.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Cap had a strange history.
That's cool as fuck.
Gooch, round 2, first pick.
Generational fucker.
I'm gonna go with Vision. I love you, Paul Bettany. I love you, Paul Bettany, but Vision stinks. Vision stinks to look at. He looks at it. It's just disgusting to look at, and you got even grosser when they turn into a sperm. God, White Vision rolls into my Vision pick, right?
Yeah, you get all.
Yeah, you're taking Vision MCU. Yeah.
Some people say White Vision's a completely different person. I do not agree with that sentiment. They all stink. Yeah, he's just lame. He's just fucking following Wanda around constantly like a little puppy dog. Like, oh, please, just a little crumb of your pussy, please.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she is bad.
So weird.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably do it too, but. No, I do not like Vision. I didn't like him when they introduced him. It was kind of weird how they introduced him too. Like, you know what I mean?
To play devil's advocate, when they introduced him,
I didn't hate how they introduced. I thought he was one of the good parts of Age of Ultron.
His speech with Ultron at the end of the movie, I thought was the best part of the entire movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he just shows up so late in the game, and they're just like, oh yeah, here's this all powerful robot that we built from one of the Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm. I never hated the Vision intro. I thought the Vision intro was done well, at least was what you said. A lot of times they introduce something late in the game or something pops up, makes no sense. But like Tony's explanation kind of worked. Like you get why it's so powerful. The stone. I never hated it. I get that he's whiny. Like I don't disagree with you. He becomes a much whinier, basically human being the rest of the way. But I don't mind his intro in a movie that's like kind of just okay to maybe bad.
He's very much in that same camp of the Lingerer, except he was cool and he had powers. You know what I mean? Like Bucky had no powers except for like Rudy said, like the strong arm and strength. Like Vision had that same sort of thing where he was just kind of there the entire time.
Yeah,
but he also had mega powers.
Yeah, he's incredibly OP, and they just have him chilling at Avengers HQ.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, just hang out over here.
Yeah, he does do a lot of like. Seems like he's always doing chores.
He's fucking. When Avengers Infinity War started, he was prone boning Scarlet Witch in Scotland. Like he was just relaxing. He had a great time.
It is funny that Age of Ultron is like basically them fighting against Siri.
Yeah, more or less.
Mm-hmm. I like Ultron. I like James Spader Ultron.
Yeah, I wish that character had more of a presence. It is. I think he does a great job voicing that character and everything.
Dude, when he picks up fucking Mjolnir for like that's cool. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's
cool I like shit. That. It's a great scene. Yeah, it's a good audience freak out.
I'm against this pick by Gooch. I find him inoffensive.
My round 2 pick, because Rudy got every Superman, I'm going to combine 2 of mine too. I'm going every Venom.
That's a great pick.
Doesn't matter. Spider-Man 3 Venom, corny, stupid, makes the character very lame. With what's his face playing him?
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace. Yeah, I could not get Toby. I want to say Toby Grace. Topher Grace. Like Topher Grace. Love Topher Grace. Great role in Ocean's 11. But I hate that Venom. It's a lame Venom. It makes the character, because to me, Venom, I wasn't a huge comic book fan growing up, but like I had some of the toys and stuff, and Venom to me was always like this fucking badass, cool looking character, this alternate Spider-Man that's just a villain. And then I saw Spider-Man 3 and I'm like, oh, that's kind of, he's just goo. He's just this goo. And then with that 70s show guy. And then I don't like the Tom Hardy version either. I think the Tom Hardy version, I think the performance is cool, what he's able to do. I think he does a nice job with it, but I don't love it. I think the second Venom movie is horrendous, the Let There Be Carnage movie. And I don't really love the first one. And like Ken Jack said, we're look, whatever. You could probably throw us into like the lane of like dumpy looking white guys, but Venom fans are smelly. I'm sorry to say that. I'll self-deprecate to say that Venom fans are smelly people. I'm sorry. Maybe we're one and the same, but you're just smellier. That's just how it is.
They didn't hear you say that because the second you said Venom, they wiped off a bunch of chili cheese Frito dust onto their pants to turn this fucking podcast off.
I feel like Venom fans are like really Punisher fans, but they're too scared to rock the Punisher logo.
So it's a combination of them and Deadpool fans. Those three fan bases are bizarre humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like dudes that were like, I could have been a Navy SEAL, but
I walk bow-legged.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I have gout. Yeah,
but I'm 800 pounds.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about Venom. Those movies definitely have the Tom Hardy ones, like definitely have super flat parts, but I liked that they made Venom like kind of funny. But I just love Tom Hardy, so I'm sort of looking at it through rose-tinted glasses.
When I walked out of Deadpool, I saw it in New York back in 2016, and I don't know why I'll never forget the people behind me when we left. They were like, "Yo, that was amazing," and they compared it to like a bunch of random like Oscar movies that had just come out. They're like, "That's so much better than X movie." I'm like, "What? Like, what's even the comparison there?"
Man, this blew La La Land out of the water.
Yeah.
I think that's what they said. Like, that's so much better than La La Land or something like that. I don't know what it was, but like, because when did La La Land come out? 2015.
Yeah, 16, 15.
They were comparing it to whatever 16. It was. They were comparing it to movies that were either coming out or had come out around that time. I forget what it was, but it was like Oscar movie because Deadpool came out around the time of the Oscars. I just remember I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It's like, like that movie was awesome, but what do you mean it's like better than Moonlight? Like, what's even the comp there? Like, what are we comparing it to? Very weird.
Those three fan bases, if you see someone like in the same way that like if you see like a girl wearing like Cookie Monster pajamas, you know not to fuck with them, and that there's other jokes should make even that post pen. But you know, like if you see a guy wearing like a Deadpool shirt or a Venom shirt or a Punisher shirt, it tells you everything you need to know about that person immediately. It is like a reflection of the soul.
Man, I just really like Venom. That guy doesn't give a fuck,
dude.
He doesn't give a fuck, man. I love Venom.
And it's like almost like, you know, like cops just love Punisher, even though the Punisher hates cops, like, and is the antithesis of what every cop is supposed to be. Like, it makes no sense. Like, and it's just like, it's one of those fandoms where it truly is a reflection into what the person is, if that makes sense. Which isn't like, it's like, hey, you're not an evil human being if you like Deadpool. I like Deadpool. I like these characters too. But like, if you're rocking it hard, we know what you are.
You know what it was? It was Mad Max, and I think they said like The Revenant. It was whatever movies were nominated around that time.
Tom Hardy movies.
It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, Deadpool was great, but like, who's comparing Deadpool to Brooklyn with Saoirse Ronan? Like, what are we? Strange. Venom. I can't stand Venom. Can't stand it. Ken Jack, back-to-back picks. You're the last pick of round 2.
I will do to start. This is one that I think will fly under a lot of people's radar and maybe shouldn't be drafted this high, but I always think about it. Seth Rogen's Green Hornet. Green Hornet sucks. Green Hornet fucking sucks, man. It's just not. I don't know how that's a movie where I see it and I'm like, I guess it was not kind of cheap to make, I guess, but I don't know how you make it because like who's lining up to go see Green Hornet?
And I don't even mean this is a negative for not for Jonah Hill,
Seth
for Seth
Rogen.
Rogen. It's not even like a knock on. I mean, it does seem like a character Seth Rogen would love to play, though. Like it makes complete sense that like he'd be a big Hornet head.
It's just it wasn't a good movie, but more than that, the character, and I'm sure it's great in comic world or whatever, but Green Hornet, no, not even.
Nope.
Oh, so even worse.
Nope.
Just that's fucking green. Who's going lining up to go see this caped? Like I don't know, you call him crime fighter,
Cape Crusader.
not even caped. He was because he looked like the Hamburglar.
Yes,
like it was just
like the Hamburger.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm lining up to go see the Hamburglar movie.
Remember, it was also the first movie that used Christoph Waltz after his big intro to American audiences with Inglourious Bastards too.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like the first movie to take advantage of him being like a mainstream American actor.
Damn, I never put that together. I'll back that up, or I'll back to back with Sophie Turner's Jean Grey. I think she stunk as Jean Grey, and not to say that like was it Famke Janssen was like some incredible version of Jean Grey or anything like that, but this character is so cool. Like anything you read about Jean Grey, it's like a fucking sick character that should be incredible. And like her specific Sophie Turner's iteration of it was so bad and so flat and so nothing and so like just mechanical and robotic. And it's like this should be one of the coolest characters, not only just in the X-Men universe, but in all of the movie world universe. So much depth to it, and yet it's just boring as fuck. And like not even just in the X-Men, like those specific like team up movies, but like even in Dark Phoenix or whatever. What a fucking bore that movie was, and that was anchored by her. So that was I really did never like that casting.
There's a common theme kind of with some of these picks, like young Jean Grey, Venom, I don't know, Vision, Superman, whiny characters.
Yeah,
like whiny, complainy characters, and that is just it just doesn't like. I get you have to create like peril and like problems for these heroes and these people with powers, but it always ends up being like their problem is they're just whiny.
Yeah,
no, young Jean Grey.
Ty Sheridan as Cyclops, you could even throw up there too.
Yeah, same thing here. Just like a mopey guy, like just
real mopester.
Guy. Yeah.
And like James Marsden was a mopester too in the X-Men movies, but he was at least a little more badass.
My first pick in the third round, I'm going to go with a character that got a name change because fans hated it so much. From Fant Forstick, 2015's Fantastic Four, Dr. Doom, played by Toby Kebbell. Terrible character. Very similar to Deadpool. They just, if you've never seen the Fantastic Four 2015 movie, which a lot of people have, and it's a terrible movie,
bad.
But you've known about it if you know comic movies. It's considered. I think it's maybe the worst ever, pound for pound. He played Victor Von Doom. Originally, his name was going to be Victor Domashev, and then people hated it so much they changed it to Victor Von Doom, and he played Dr. Doom. But in the movie, he gets left on a planet. And he gets all deformed, and he comes back, and he's just completely made of like one, like I don't know,
robot,
like thing of like material or matter, like some sort of element. And he doesn't move. His mouth doesn't move. His face doesn't move. He's just this like stone figure, and his power is he just looks at somebody and kills them, like their head explodes. It's so fucking stupid. You can kind of tell they were trying to make some sort of horror movie type thing with it, but because the studio redid it so much, it never really worked. And that Victor Von Doom is easily one of the worst villains of any superhero movie. Period. And it could be Marvel's worst. That movie is like. There's a lot of times you hear about a bad movie or comic movie, and I feel like you watch it and you're like, oh, that was bad, but like maybe not as bad. Fantastic Four somehow lowers the bar when you watch it. Like it clears below the bar.
I've watched it twice and liked it so much less the second time. And like I thought it'd be the opposite. Like, oh, it's not as now that I know what I'm getting, maybe not as bad. Now it's worse.
And just a banger cast too. Miles Teller,
seriously.
Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, Jamie Bell, Tim Blake Nelson. I mean, people. Toby Kebbell's not like a bad actor. Just it's crazy. Terrible. Yeah, terrible fucking movie. So I'll go Dr. Doom. Gooch, first pick, third round.
Listen, this one's been beaten into the ground by a lot of angry men online. It's Brie Larson for me. That Captain Marvel portrayal, I think it stinks.
It's very robotic.
It stinks, and I don't think it's her fault. I really do not, because I've seen her act and I've seen her be charismatic before. It really just comes down to the writing. I don't think the character design is very cool. Her lore stinks. Like when she turns her powers on, it's just like basically like an afterglow effect or a glow effect in After Effects. And then like her fucking mohawk through her little cap thing looks terrible. But the main complaint is that it is just a robotic wooden like character. Like it has no charisma to it. There's no humor. There's no levity that makes the MCU like enjoyable or like that's their trademark. That's really what they built their audience on. And they kind of just stripped it all away for that character. I don't know why. I the more I see of that character, the less I like.
I mean, you remember the hype for that? Like, Rudy, where do you fall with that character as an MCU guy with Captain Marvel? The hype for Captain Marvel was huge before that movie came out because it was Brie Larson.
I agree. It's like she just has like just a bitchy demeanor for no reason, and it's kind of warranted, I guess, because she's probably like top 2 most powerful technically, but it's sort of just like Karen vibes. Like I would, if you brought her into the real world, I could easily see like a TMZ video of her like punching like a homeless person in the stomach for like coming near her Tesla. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's like a video where she gets like canceled for like beating the brakes off someone or like storming into a Jamba Juice and like screaming at one of the workers.
Exactly.
So that's the vibe I get.
Or
from
like,
her.
or even as I'm going to piggyback off your joke, like yelling at someone for not knowing how to work the Tesla door handle, like that type of thing.
Yeah, just some poor kid that's just like working like a summer job, and she just undresses him for no reason.
Yeah,
and then they had the balls to give her a fucking Karen haircut.
That was so fucking dumb.
The haircut.
Dude.
I think Endgame is incredible. I'm one of the people, like, I know some people don't like I think a lot of people like Endgame, but maybe not as much as Infinity War. I love it. I think it's amazing, like, character development for like the MCU, which is typically known for not having that. But if I had one large complaint about character choice, the haircut is crazy to me. And they also just make fun of it in the movie too. That's the thing. It's like they knew.
Yeah, it looked bad. And I disagree with you, Gooch, in that I think she bricked the performance. And like the writing's bad. There's no question about it. And she's definitely a super talented actress. No doubt about that either. That was such a fucking stale.
I'm here to get my MCU check.
Yeah, it was such a stale performance for what is like a character that I guess could have had, like we'll go back to depth again. That could have had pretty good depth, but it was.
I mean, it could, yeah, like Rudy said, like this is a top 3 most powerful character. Like, could have done something really cool there. I don't know. Maybe they'll fix it with the Marvels. Who knows? Yeah,
there was very cool elements in the movie. It's like not a movie I hate by any means, but that's one where like that's not a movie made by her performance by any means. I think it's one of the weaker parts of the movie.
I can't get over the hair. Yeah, the haircut really was tough. Rudy, you have back-to-back picks here. Round 3, your pick.
Ooh, all right. For third round, I'm gonna go with Ronan the Accuser.
Ooh,
really?
Yeah, and it's more so just because I like making fun of him. He's actually like not that bad of a character. It's just he's just so easy and fun to make fun of. Like Ronan the Incel, like
yeah,
straight up like. He probably after Guardians of the Galaxy 100,000% became a 4chan mod.
He got obliterated in like literally turned to ash in the Guardians of the Galaxy. But if he were to survive, yes.
If he were to survive, he would definitely be a 4chan mod. He would be no longer hunting Infinity Stones, hunting for karma on Reddit. Like he just is such like first of all, he's a dipshit. Like just one of those villains where he's just like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
He's a huge tool, massive
1D.
Fuck you up, dude. And also, like, he's gunning for like racial purity. I think in the movie, if I
remember, a little bit Nazi-ish. You're right about that.
Nazi-ish vibes, but it's like, dude, like, first of all, like, if that's what racial purity looks like you look like shit. You have a bad attitude. Like, if we're going to do that, like, maybe let's just do a different race.
Which is funny, too, because the guy who plays him, Lee Pace, is one of the hottest dudes on Earth.
Yeah, he's so hot.
He's like 6'9" of like pure ripped muscle.
Yeah.
I like the performance of it, but you're right. The character's like, he's always has like his head tilted slightly down, like tell Thanos that. Like, it's always like a very, like he's got like a tool vibe about him.
Yeah. He's like he operates like that dickhead GM of like a Radio Shack who just like doesn't really do anything himself. And then in the end, when he finally does something, he gets absolutely bodied by some like earthling dipshit. And then like just delegates to a bunch of idiots. I kind of love him actually, but it's just fun to make fun of him. It's fun to make fun of him.
It's an all-time name too. Ronan the Accuser just doesn't live up to it. Like it's a dope name, and
never accused.
He's more like a fucking Craig.
Yeah.
Did he accuse anyone of anything?
I don't think he made one accusation.
Also, he's in Captain Marvel too, and is he in the new one in the Marvels?
I would assume no. He's dead at that point.
he looks worlds less intimidating when he doesn't have the black face paint on too. Otherwise, it looks like a fucking Smurf.
Yeah, very Smurfy. Even with like that what do you call it, hat thing going on.
All he wants to do is just kill. He just wants to kill Glenn Close.
Yeah, the opening scene with him was cool too, because like the opening scene is a fucking Disney movie. He like smashes a dude's head in with a hammer
After being and he's a nude man being painted by his workers or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he crushes a dude's head with a hammer and uses his blood to make something, and is like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool." And then he just like Rudy said, no accusations made. Like that's unbelievable, man. If you're gonna have the accusation as your subtitle or whatever, come on.
And then I have the next pick, right?
Yep.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Evan Peters' Quicksilver. It
You
just
took
like
the air out of my fucking lungs with that dude.
Does this include Ralph Boner?
Who's that?
From
No,
WandaVision?
that's not technically him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like specifically what I'm talking about.
Oh, like you're not
The
talking about the
WandaVision?
X-Men?
Yeah, like mostly WandaVision.
That was on my list. Ralph Boner made my list. So
Wait, is that not Quicksilver?
No, it's not.
It's technically not.
They might. Will they retroactively make it so? Possibly, but it is not. No, and they even commented on it after WandaVision came out. They went, "Oh yeah, that might have been a good idea." It's like, yeah, yeah, that probably would have been a. Yeah, what are you talking? What?
But isn't Quicksilver Wanda's brother?
Yeah, it's a weird. It's a kind of an unexplained thing. It's very weird.
Okay, well in that case, I'm gonna go somewhere else because I don't want to. I'm already looking like an idiot, but that's confusing, right?
It was confusing.
Yes, it is confusing.
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna lose this draft already, so I may as well just go all the way in. I'm gonna go Ant-Man.
Wow.
Yeah, because
You're gonna
like,
eat so much shit, dude.
As a Paul Rudd stan.
I like Paul Rudd, but like it just I liked Ant-Man a lot, but the problem is that like it just never his bit just ran out for me. It's like, dude, like his superpower is basically just to be like surprised by everything constantly. His superpower is being clueless. He's literally
in Clueless.
His name, he's like the same as like like I just watched The Guardians 3. He's like literally like Cosmo, where he's just like pining for pets constantly. And it just is one of those things where I'm like, all right, dude, we get it. You're like the fun-loving dad who just is like, I'll do anything for my kids. It's like, yeah, I know, I get it. But like, give me some fucking edge, dude. I just don't like superheroes that are just bland, cookie cutter, like always like doing the right thing, like kind of teary-eyed all the time. Like, no, dude. That's why I like Batman. I need a guy with some fucking issues.
I mean, he's a divorced dad. He was a
former
criminal in
convict.
jail. There's some depth there.
he's an
that they give him.
electrical engineer.
Yeah, but oh, cool. Like he went to jail, but like in like the coolest way, in like the easiest way possible. Like he went to jail for some nerd shit. It's like, no, dude. He's
Didn't he,
basically
I
like
thought he was a
Edward
robber.
Snowden,
But
but
he
not
like robbed a bank or something, didn't he?
He tried to rob something, I think, and got caught.
He tried to like rob PIM particles, I think, or I don't know. I don't even remember. But yeah, no, he just ran out for me. The runway ended.
Burglary is not a lame way to go to jail, but it's also probably not a cool way.
Yeah,
He managed
yeah.
he managed to make it not cool, which is speaks volumes.
Gooch, you're up next.
Okay. I'm going to go back to the DC. I'm going to go with Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Just a complete whiff. And it goes back to, I've said this a million times, that brand of villain, the techie billionaire, like quick talking.
Right.
Like,
that is very clearly from an era that we probably won't see again.
It just never worked. I don't think it worked one time. It just isn't. It's not the kind of villain you fear. It's like just a villain you want to like just post memes about and dunk on. Like it's not a real villain. Like it doesn't feel like it fits into the comic book world at all. Also, Lex Luthor is not like a nerd at any point in the comics. Like he's
like an alpha.
He's like an alpha. Like the dude takes like kryptonite steroids and tries to sexually harass his employees. Like he's a fucking Chad villain. He's smart, but he's a Chad villain. And so I really did not like, and I like Jesse Eisenberg, but that was just a miscast and a misfire.
Yeah, I think he played it. And like, look, we've had Jesse Eisenberg on. I wouldn't call him our friend, like you wouldn't recognize us on the street, but like we've had him on a bunch, and we like Jesse Eisenberg. I don't even think it's biased to say, like, I don't think his performance was the problem there. Like, I think he played it exactly how they wanted him to. I just think it was written just again. They were playing off of Zuckerberg. They wanted a Zuckerberg Lex Luthor. They wanted Elon Musk. They wanted old Bezos. They just didn't work. It just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I really need, whenever we get our next Lex Luthor, I really need him to do steroids. It is hilarious. Every time Lex Luthor does like the kryptonite steroids and he just becomes a madman.
Camille Nanjiani as the next Lex Luthor. Yeah. You can do it.
For mine, I'm going to go with Galactus from Fantastic Four Silver Surfer.
Great pick.
I don't even think I have to say much here. It's just a cloud.
It's a cloud.
Like, what more? There's really not much more I need to say here. They took one of the biggest, baddest villains in the MCU, literally biggest by size too, and they just made him a big cloud, just a space cloud. And there's like, I think you can see like the outline of his suit a little bit when like some of like the lightning flashes, but it is just so stupid. And again, this goes along the lines of like a Doctor Doom or a Deadpool. It's such a complete misunderstanding of the source material, and it's crazy to think about this because you talk about this like with Watchmen too, right? With Zack Snyder. I like the director's cut of Watchmen. I think the Watchmen HBO is way better. I think they also get to just do the things from the source material. But like, it would have been considered a huge risk for Zack Snyder to drop a squid on New York in that Watchmen movie. And that's kind of the same with Galactus. Like, it would have been a huge risk to have this massive like space villain. And there's rumors that Galactus might be the new Fantastic Four. So like, I get why they didn't do it to an extent. But like, that's crazy thing about that back then in 2007, doing Galactus like the right way would have been like a risky move. Where now you look back at it, it was just dumb. It was dumb not to do it. Yeah, it's a fucking cloud. Ken Jack, last pick of round 4, then the first pick of our last round.
My fourth pick, I'll do the Paul Giamatti Rhino.
That was on my list. That was on my list too.
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, the Paul Giamatti Rhino is one of the weirdest, and like I can't claim to be the world's #1 like Spider-Man lore fan or anything like that, but I know that he wasn't supposed to be anything like Paul Giamatti. He's just not a guy you can cast in like a villain role like that. Like if you're gonna cast him as a villain, it's got to be like big fat liar villain. You know what I mean?
Also, he is such a good actor. I mean, you talk about all his.
Yes.
I think about Sideways. I gotta say, I when I put on my list today, I never really thought about this. I've never looked at Paul Giamatti the same since this movie.
Yeah,
like for some reason, like it hasn't ruined his career for me, but I just see the Rhino, I see the tattoos, and it just throws me off. I just can't do it.
I see that on the Verizon commercials or whatever.
Right. Where he plays like Ben Franklin or something.
Yeah, or some shit. Like, and he played Henry VIII in a movie or something recently. Really weird. But he's a great actor. Obviously, he's got like he can do drama. There's no problem with that. But like, he's just not an intimidating man. He's a fucking goofball. He's a goofy dude. You can't have him play Rhino, this big gangster fucking machine man thing. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
It's like a bad Sopranos imitation character. It's like a bad Sopranos character imitation too. That's another thing. It's so corny.
His facial expressions were just bizarre.
Like if it was just Paulie from Sopranos, it might have been better. Like that's like it would like that's basically what it is.
Mm-hmm. And like that's one again. Like if I was a Spider-Man lore fan, I would be way more angry, I think, about that whole thing. But like, I was just like, this is just stupid at every level. Like, whose idea would this be that this is like possibly a workable villain in a superhero franchise? But yeah, I'll do Giamatti Rhino. I think that he was just a massive fuck up in every way. Which, by the way, I rewatched Saving Private Ryan. My girlfriend was watching it for the first time with me, and she's watching it, and she's like doesn't know anybody other than like Tom Hanks while we're going through it. And then the scene hits where like Paul Giamatti comes up, and she's like, "Oh my god, big fat liar!" Like, yeah, you're right. And I ID'd him immediately. Like literally, Matt Damon was on screen for like 20 minutes before she was like, "He looks kind of familiar." And I was like, "Yeah, it's Matt Damon." Like, oh shit, it's crazy. Okay, so after Giamatti Rhino, I'll do specifically late stage Mystique Jennifer Lawrence. So I'm talking Dark Phoenix, and what was the one right before that one? Because like this one was the one where they just missed to change the color of her face.
Apocalypse.
I'll add into that as well. So Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, Mystique. by Jennifer Lawrence. Just it's a combination of the character, Jennifer Lawrence not wanting to do it at all, like period, but having to contractually have to do it, and also probably wanting to make the money that they were offering. But also just the character's written really flatly, really quickly, very like, and it's just a bore. And like you could say, yeah, she got way more lines than Rebecca Romijn got in the OG X-Men, but like it was just like a waste of her talents, I guess. You know, it was just kind of and she didn't want to be great.
She was great in First Class, right? Like
exactly, yeah, First Class,
they played to her good acting ability.
Yeah, and Days of Future Past too. Like they played that all super correctly. It's just like I think at that point it was a mutual distaste of each other. So you could blame both of them for sure, like both the makers of the movie and Jennifer Lawrence. But that whole character towards the end was just such a lame.
The best example,
the scene
they should start calling it the
X-Women since we do all the work around here.
Yeah, it's like it's like the men don't do it. Whatever she said, it's like it would have been a great line if she just cut it off and just walked out of the room. And it plays great to Jennifer Lawrence's like pretty snarky delivery of lines and what Miss made her like win Oscars. But then then she they had to have her say like she'll call it X-Women. It's like
we fucking get it, dude. And like
so on the nose.
And that she dies right in Dark Phoenix, and I just remember her and it's just not particularly good
during the slow-mo scene. Yeah, she gets stabbed with like a bunch of wood, and then remember they continued to do less and less good-looking makeup for the characters. Like the character was worse and worse every movie. It was crazy.
Yeah, because she wanted less time in the chair, and I wouldn't blame her.
I'm going to team up with Rudy a little bit here. He picked every Superman, but I'm going to pick just Snyderverse. I'm going to go Pa Kent with my last pick. Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner. That's another thing. Kevin Costner's fine in the role. Terribly written character. The fact that Soups doesn't save him in the storm is like such, I just think, a category. It's such a misstep for that franchise, and a big reason why I've never liked Man of Steel. Never been for me. I think it's perfectly average, like it kind of in that space. Some people think it's great. I've never really cared for it.
The scene where he flies, though, where he learns to fly, that's a great scene. The Hans Zimmer score hitting in.
It's like a top 10 comic book movie scene.
But it's so cool.
I just think the Pa Kent character is a huge reason why the Superman character in the Snyderverse and DCU is so mopey and such a complainer and so against really everything that I would expect out of the Superman character to be translated into the movies. And Pa Kent, just a dopey ass Pa Kent. Encourage your son, whatever. He's an alien. Fucking figure it out though, Pa Kent.
Unbelievable.
Gooch, your last pick.
I'm going to go back to the MCU, back to the Avengers. Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Do not care for it. And I think most MCU fans have kind of come to this side too, where it's like they just completely botched the entire Hulk storyline. Like it was botched from the beginning, obviously, with
Norton.
You get Norton and having to switch over to Ruffalo, but Ruffalo's Bruce Banner. Like Bruce Banner is supposed to be just as smart as Tony Stark. And the whole time, Tony Stark and Cap will go back on these these big debates, and then Mark Ruffalo would just be in the corner and just be like, "Hey guys, this is what I think." It just never plays. He never brings across the tortured aspect of Bruce Banner's life having to live with the Hulk. I don't care for it at all. And Hulk is cool. Hulk is before the MCU, it was Hulk, Spider-Man, Wolverine. Those are the three big Marvel guys. That was the team. And Hulk has plummeted down that list.
I'll note that I think the best movie he was in as the Hulk was Ragnarok.
Oh yeah.
And that's because it wasn't really the Hulk as it's supposed to be, if that makes sense.
It's really just Banner. It's a Banner movie.
Yeah, but it's just it's not really the same character, I guess, as
when they fight, that's the Hulk that everybody wants.
Yeah, it's
exactly. Just the rage Hulk, not the don't even get me started on that fucking nerd Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a taco. Let's take a selfie.
I never again, I'm an Endgame guy, I never hated it.
Yeah.
But I get why since that I get it. I do understand the goofy Hulk, some people don't really vibe with it. It doesn't blow my mind that people feel that way.
Yeah.
Rudy, last pick.
Can't believe you fell this far, but I'm going Hawkeye.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
I would have been with you until the Hawkeye series.
The Hawkeye special was good, man. Or series, yeah.
It's just he's just useless, dude.
I mean, just say it. Yeah,
he
He's
is.
just a guy.
Useless.
He's just a guy.
He's just a guy, dude. He's the Make-A-Wish Avenger, like sort of similar to Winter Soldier, but to a way worse degree. Like bringing a fucking bow and arrow, a medieval weapon. He would be at a disadvantage going up against 3 Marines. 1 Marine
with a gun.
With a gun. He would be at a disadvantage going up against a civilian with a prostitute with a Saturday Night Special. He is a medieval weapon. He's like a water gun. His hair. They did Renner so dirty in Infinity War with that hair, dude. He looked like some sort of like bird. Like he looked like a bird. And his name is Hawkeye, so maybe that's what they were going for, but I don't know why you had to take it so literally.
He had the Sanjaya.
Yeah, it's just it was rough. Hawkeye's just such an easy fucking target. All he does is run. Like he puts in 3 shots and then scatters. He basically is like the Avengers version of like trench, like Viet Cong warfare. Like he just hides in the shadows, puts in a couple shots, and then just sprints to the other side, puts in a couple more, doot, 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 and it like pings off Thanos' head, and he's like, all right, yeah, I'm good.
He's the Tony Snell of the Avengers.
Yeah, he is the Tony Snell of the Avengers.
Just running up and down the court.
The best thing he did, I mean, give him credit. He put up like a 98-yard, like wire-to-wire run when he picked up the Infinity Stones and darted out of there. Got to give him credit on that. Other than that, stat line is looking weak.
I will say, we talk about the MCU's a lot, like their humor not always hitting. I do think one of the better MCU humor like bits was Hawkeye in Age of Ultron. Like one of the things that did work in Age of Ultron, I did think he was like humanizing, and they did a good job playing off like the idea that he is just a dude who can like shoot bows and arrows really well, like very well. I always did like that, but no, I get that. I think Hawkeye, that's a good pick in that round.
They did a great, whenever I think it was Jeremy Renner hosted SNL, they did a great skit with him. Do you remember that? Where it's like it's all the Avengers are sitting there and they're like, okay, I'm going to do this, you do this, you do that. Hawkeye, you go do this. And he's like, yeah, well, I can't. I'm out of arrows.
yeah.
Like that was it. And they're like, what do you mean you're out of arrows? Like, I used all my arrows up. I'm done. Like, I'm going to go home. Like, it was very funny.
You got to wonder what the thought process was there and like bringing him into live action, like with the rest of the team. Because when you see him in the Hawkeye series, he's an enjoyable character because he's doing street level stuff. Yeah. But like when he's like just with the Avengers fighting planetary threats, he just has nothing to do.
Oh, is that it? He only brought 11 arrows to the fight. That was it. He's like, sorry, I forgot to pack more.
Teams are here. The draft picks before we go to maybe a couple quick honorable mentions. Kenjack has Snyder versus Joker, Green Hornet, young Jean Grey from X-Men, Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2, young adult Mystique I put down from the X-Men franchise. I have Deadpool from X-Men Origins, Wolverine, Venom from any movie with Venom, Doctor Doom from the 2015 Fantastic Four, Galactus from Silver Surfer, Pa Kent from the Snyderverse, Goochaz.
Pa Kent. Stop saying Pa Kent. Just
Pa Kent. That's what they call him.
That's his name.
I fucking hate this the phrase Pa Kent.
Mom Pa Kent.
Hey, if I'm gonna rip the fans that are gonna hate my pick here, I'm gonna call it the name they call him. They love calling him fucking
outfielder batting 350 in 1922.
Gooch has the Flash DCU, Vision MCU, Captain Marvel MCU, Lex Luthor Batman v Superman, Hulk MCU, Rudy Superman from every fucking Superman movie, Winter Soldier MCU, Ronan the Accuser MCU, Ant-Man MCU, Hawkeye MCU. Any quick honorable mentions? Two on my list that I didn't get picked: Catwoman, Halle Berry.
Yep.
But that felt too cliche. But also, speaking of whiny, mopey characters, the Robin from the Joel Schumacher Batman movies.
Yeah.
Absolute, just annoying doofus. Just a fucking
bitch
loser. Yeah, huge bitch. Any others?
I had the early Hemsworth Thor. Like we talking about mopey.
Oh,
yes. You talk first two movies.
I thought about doing that.
Massive mopester. Absolute. He went from literally, like we talk about all the time, fucking Ragnarok, the character of Thor flipped from being the worst Avenger to by far the best Avenger overnight. Like it was crazy. I also had, speaking of Thor, the Chris Eccleston Malekith, the elf.
Yes, we love talking about that guy.
He fucking hated that so much. Nothing he hated more than that movie.
But then when Ragnarok came out, I was like, actually, maybe I would do it again. Like, he's like, now you would. Yeah.
I had the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. He obviously got redeemed in Shang-Chi, which is one of the coolest things that did in that movie. But at that point, that character, the Mandarin, the bait and switch was ridiculous. And Oscar Isaac.
I hate the real Mandarin in that movie, too. Fucking, what's his face?
Fucking Guy Pearce's like flame man. Yeah. Oscar
Horrible.
Isaac in Apocalypse was also just that. Great actor, just a shit role he got stuck with in all like 20 pounds of makeup. And probably you could do like Shaq as Steel, but like that's like two people have seen that movie.
Yeah, there was like if it was smaller, I kind of just stayed away from it.
Yeah, Reynolds Green Lantern, like
I got a bunch that didn't make the cut, but they were just kind of smaller roles where I just like can't put these up on the graphic. Sprite and Fastos from the Eternals. Sprite was that weird little girl.
I like Sprite.
No, she was weird.
Yeah,
that was
you like a dirty, don't you?
And Fastos did Hiroshima, so
that's true.
That's true.
I got Dreykov, the villain from Black Widow, along with Taskmaster, both just stinky. David Thewlis, his Ares, he was Ares, right?
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman, that
fucking bad.
Scar from She-Hulk, Hulk's son.
I forgot about that.
He
Holy
was
shit!
in the show for 5 seconds.
Yeah,
that stupid haircut and tank top. Fuck that. Hulking, also from She-Hulk, the online poster man. Wanda's kids, Woody Harrelson in Venom 2, Kamala's mom in Miss Marvel, just mean.
Woody Harrelson's really bad in Venom 2.
Maybe his worst role ever.
Flash Thompson in the MCU and Ralph Boner.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy, you got to give me yours, but you also got to tell me you almost picked. I think didn't you almost pick someone from Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Yeah, that was before I like really knew the vibe that we were doing like MCU, DCU. I was like, it was Fred from Courage the Cowardly Dog. He's the barber.
Scary as fuck.
Scary as hell. Gave me horrific nightmares. Should never have been in a kid's show. True nightmare shit. And then the other one I had Icarus from Eternals,
flying into the sun, bro. Come on.
And then I had Wonder Woman, but it just sort of seemed like too obvious. It's whatever.
Nah, not with this show, not with this movie brand. Ken Jack. Nobody hates Gal Gadot Wonder Woman more than Ken Jack does.
Did we even get a chance to talk about her fucking lying about Wonder Woman 3? I don't think we even talked about it.
She made it up.
No,
apparently just made it up that she was
made
back.
It all up. She thought she could pressure people into fucking making Wonder Woman 3 happen, and she couldn't. Go make another Heart of Stone, dumbass. Shit movie.
Make sure, again, like and subscribe the video on YouTube. Helps us out a lot. Go to @LightsCameraBarstool on Instagram and @LightsCameraPod on Twitter. You can vote whenever we put the graphic up for this draft. Vote for who you think had the best draft. That's it. Thanks, Rudy, for popping on. We'll talk to you next time.